Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal back with another thoughts, analysis, and rant. This time they are cameras by Canon recently announced Canon PowerShot G5X Mark III and Canon Shot G7X Mark III. So I'm gonna say it right now. Canon love to fragment their features. In every camera, a feature is missing, but you can find it on another camera model. And that is basically the theme with these two cameras. So, as usual, let's get on with the specs, okay? They both have similar specs, very closely similar. So I'll probably just go between the two. So first and foremost, the G5X costs $900 US and the G7X costs $750 US. Both have 20 megapixels sensor, Digi 8 processor, backlit CMOS sensor, 1-inch sensor size. They both have a tiltable and also facing screen, which means you can do a selfie. The G5X is actually 5 times optical zoom, that's 24 to 120 millimeter, while the G7X is 24 to 100 millimeter, that's 4.2x zoom. Both lenses has f1.8 to 2.8 aperture. They both can shot JPEG and RAW, which is pretty good. And then another thing is that obviously they have digital zoom, and then both have a inbuilt flash. But here's the difference. The G5X has an electronic viewfinder, a pop-up viewfinder that you can find on the Sony RX100, but the G7X does not. It only has a tiltable screen as your viewfinder. So the electronic viewfinder resolution is 2.3 million dots, while the screen is about a million dots. So which is the G5X has the viewfinder and the LCD screen, tiltable LCD screen, but the G7X has a microphone input, while the G5X does not. So this is what I'm saying. It's getting fragmented here. And so after that, USB 3.1, same with both. When it comes to videos, okay, both can shoot 4K at 30 frames per second, and then both can shoot at 1080p at 120 frames per second, 60 frames per second, and 30. No 24 frames per second option. Has a micro HDMI, and then they both have Bluetooth, they both have Wi-Fi, but no GPS. Not only that, they both use the same battery, and both can shot around 230 pictures. So when it comes to the looks, I mean, they both look the same. When it comes to the size, very similar size. The thing about the G7X that I don't understand is that if you look at the design of the G7X, especially the top view, I don't know why Canon did this, but on the G7X it has this grill or some kind of pores. Could be a microphone, could be audio, but I bet you could put the inbuilt flash on top of that, because I'll tell you why. On the G5X, it has the inbuilt flash pop up in the center, so there's certainly enough space. But as I said it before, Canon love to diversify these features. So those are the specs. So let's get to my thoughts here, okay? Honestly, I prefer the G7X Mark III because it has a mic input. Not only that, Yes, the viewfinder is handy in the sunlight, but I mean the viewfinder is small, so there's a give and take. But I would take the microphone input jack, even though there's no hot shoe. Yes, I understand there's no hot shoe there, but you could take a cage or some kind of tripod, or make a bracket with the hot shoe. But not only that, the G7X is certainly cheaper, $750 compared to the $900 on the G5X. So my thoughts here is that the better value here is G7X3. That's it. There's no questions asked. But for Canon to fragment the features is disappointing. Not only that, is the G5X 200 is the G5X $150 more? Okay, is the G5X $150 more? Is it more value? I mean, is it worth more than the G7X? No. So I'm gonna come down to earth again, and I'm gonna say this to Canon. I still don't like you, even though I have the Canon S120. I still don't like the fact that you are fragmenting these features. I really absolutely do not like this, and my thoughts is that in the end I absolutely think the G7X will be the winner compared to these two when it comes to sales. Now when it comes to the analysis, let's take this to the consumers and the market. Now when it comes to compact or very powered up compact cameras, I still think that they exist, but phone cameras have taken over. Not only that, if brands like Canon keep doing this, keep fragmenting it, keep diversifying it, no wonder these types of camera will disappear. And consumers for some reason can't have what they want, or the brands can't give the consumers what they have. In the smartphone industry, it seems like all the consumers have what they want. I mean, you have the camera, you have the video capabilities, you have the speed, you have the raw power. I mean, you have the screen sizes, you have the touch screen. I mean, it's very portable, battery life. But why can't cameras do that? Why can't a manufacturer put all of the features in there? The RX100, the only thing that was missing from it is a mic input. But now they made the aperture slower, which I'm not a fan of. I actually think the G7X Mark III is the closest, best travel compact camera you will ever get to, due to the microphone input alone. You want to have some family videos with good audio, and there are tiny mic inputs out there, just so you know. Not only that, you have f1.8 to 2.8 aperture, 4.2x zoom, and you have a tiltable screen that can face you, and it has great analog controls on the top. It's as close as you're ever gonna get. Not only that, it's at $750. So going back to the put this in a market perspective, as usual, the general consumers will keep on using their phones. But for the enthusiast out there, for the camera enthusiast, how could you pick one or the other knowing that major features are missing for each one? And for Canon to do this, why not just sell the G5X as a higher megapixel than the G7X? There are ways to go on about this, but for some reason they think that, hey, if RX100 is setting the precedent, so should we. But I feel as though the RX100 is a better deal for some reason. Now let's get on to the analysis here, okay? So why is it that in the beginning, previously I said we can't have what we want in a travel compact camera. Why is that? But with my analysis here is that these cameras is not going to change anything. What I mean by that is that people will still keep using their phones. People will still go on with their lives, and this is where my sadness is coming. These type of cameras is not going to survive any longer. The more camera brands are always not including features, the more they will start to disappear, and these brands are questioning why no one buying these cameras. Well, it's pretty obvious. You keep putting, or you keep fragmenting these features that people want in one camera. When people buy these cameras, especially these specialized compact camera, they want to have every features as much as possible. But with camera brands like Canon, they always have to do this. Obviously they don't want to cannibalize anything, but again, there are ways on going about it without removing those two features. The G5X could have been perfect if it had a camera input. Mic input. I'm sorry, mic input. If the G5X Mark III had a mic input, perfect. Absolutely perfect. I would have bought one myself. Yes, I would have bought one myself. If the G7X3 had a viewfinder, included a viewfinder, I would have bought one myself. But if they keep doing this, you're gonna have to pick the G7X but you're gonna lose the viewfinder because it has a mic input. But if you go to the G5Xs, then you lose the viewfinder, which could be helpful in the sunny days. So it's sad and it's unfortunate that we have come to this point of the camera industry, especially in the compact camera. So let's get to my rant. So first of all, I don't like the fact that Canon is fragmenting these features, again removing the mic input and removing the viewfinder on the G7X and no mic input on the G5X. Not only that, where is the 24 frames per second option, the native 24 frames per second? You have a 30 frames per second, you have 120 frames per second on the 1080, and you have the 60 frames per second. Also on the 4K you have 30 frames per second. Where's the 24? Why can't we have that? Not only that, why is the battery so small? 230 shots, that's it. Yes, I know these camera batteries are small, you can probably bring a second one, but why can't you just make it 300 or 350? And why is there's no GPS? Why you have a built-in Bluetooth and you have Wi-Fi but there's no GPS? For $750 you don't have that? Now I don't care if it has a single card slot, you know, we're not gonna get into that because it's under the conversation, but I mean, why is it that we're always missing so much? Why do I feel like it? And the PowerShot G7X, I'm gonna put a rant on that. On the camera alone, it looks like there's a space, and a big enough space to put a viewfinder, but they're not gonna do that because I know Canon doesn't want to cannibalize both models. Not only that, why the 2.8? I would love to see just make it f1.8 to 2.0 for 4.2x zoom. At least Canon, try harder here. Can you at least try harder? Heck, the people with RX100 are telling themselves, I see no reason why I should move to this camera. That's what they're basically is saying. And so that was basically my rant. And so that basically concludes my thoughts, analysis, and rant on the Canon PowerShot G5X Mark III and the G7X Mark III. I will see you in another thoughts, analysis, and rant and Rant. Bye bye.